Welcome back to the Anfield Dream Podcast. And guys, just right up front, I really, really appreciate all the support. I like the likes, I like the dislikes. I like that. This is something I was encouraged to do by family and close friends, and then so here we are, and really enjoying my time, sharing my thoughts, on my beloved Liverpool Football Club. So anyway, please do share, I could say smash that like button, subscribe. I'm in the process of still testing different platforms, very close to selecting what platform we're going to go with, and then we'll be getting more content out, more interaction, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, let's get down to the game: Liverpool versus Arsenal, and this was always going to be a tricky one. But I was very, very confident in the Reds, continuing, their their dominance, their everything, all of it. And obviously, there were a few last minute things that upset the apple cart a bit. Not making any excuses, but people are here. I mean, these are human beings. These players are very tight. The overnight news that Connor's dad lost his battle with cancer. Our condolences and love to and prayers to the entire family. And at this time, he's a young lad, and I know it's got to be rough, and I'm sure that affected the team, and as well because like I said, this is a tight bunch, and he's one of the new kids in the fold. And then obviously training, it looks like Sobo tweaked that hammy again, and well, he'll be back. It just these things happen, muscle injuries, these things happen, but he'll be back. And on another positive light, it was good to see Thiago back actually on the bench and getting a couple minutes in. Obviously, he's got to get up to speed, right, with game time. But it was good to see him back. But anyway, let's just talk flow here. Let's just talk, coming purely from I'm a data analyst by background, and I'm used to looking at large chunks of data. And in coaching, I look at it in a different way, maybe than the average person out there who is, not that there's an average fan out there, but most fans are super passionate about what they do, and they're very strongly opinionated, and rightfully so. There are always three components that make make the culture of a club: the fan base, the ownership and management, and the players themselves. Right? These three are the three pillars that create a great culture within a organization, especially a sporting organization, in this case, Liverpool Football Club. That being said, it's right from the off. It was. I was a little surprised. I understand why he put Trent in. Obviously, if Connor was available, I would have brought Trent on later and more in an inverted or straight up in the midfield and in the middle of the park rather. But we had to get Trent in, and he clearly is on his way and getting back up to speed. I understand, why Klopp did what he did, and some of the subs have no problem with that. I would have changed it just a little bit in the middle, but I understand why Klopp did and why his coaching staff recommended the, based on the data. Now, it's what you guys got to understand. I know there are a lot of sites out there that track, general data, shots, XG, this kind of thing. But when you look from a management perspective, from a looking at data analysis perspective, and there literally is thousands of bits of data that go into analysis of the team. Like for instance, give you an idea, we actually look at trends with a particular player. Because this is what helps coaches work with a player to make all the slight minor adjustments here and there throughout their career, throughout the season, even within a game. And just striking off a ball, what's the angle, what's the accuracy, what are the conditions, and it's how do you work when you're under duress? How do you work? I always split up in threes, vertical and horizontal. Horizontally, obviously, you have the back line, the mid, and then the forward line. Then vertically, same thing, right straight up the spine, and then your flanks. And then you have, you look at the flow, the dynamic flow, how these three, can diagonal or work together, or what I call rotate in a dynamic triangle. And people call it different things. They call it a double six. They call it inversion. They call it overload. Overlap, underlap. There are various forms or definitions. in formations and tactics, but essentially it's the ability of every player essentially being able to play each other's role. And so say when you invert and your backs push up, you have the mid covering for them. So on the defensive stuff. So you'll have maybe the wingers being a temporary back row. You saw that Lucha doing that towards the end of the game, after the red card with Kanade, and when Ibu got obviously the double yellow. But anyway, getting back to the positioning. I was just looking in my mind, the data that I was getting from this game and the situation. And in a way, I mean, obviously, you want to win every single game, but this was a data-rich game. To me, I saw a lot of situations where this will literally help the coaches, help the guys handling the data, and help the players. And this will be a very much studied game. And we got a whole week to study because we don't play till Saturday. And this is going to be great for the team, great for recovery. Maybe see who else is coming back in, and a good opportunity to work on things. And so with adversity, adversity is good. And the fact that it has happened, towards the beginning of the second half, this is actually bodes well. Obviously, we'd rather not lose a single game, let alone draw it. We want to win every one, but we can always learn from this. And this is going to help the coaches and help the players understand, how they need to, work on the dynamism. Like I said, what I call a dynamic triangle, where it's constantly fluid. You're constantly interchanging, not just horizontally, but doing vertically and doing it at diagonals. And essentially, once they get that dynamism right, to borrow a phrase from American football, you have somebody that plays a quarterback role, if you will, who controls and dictates distribution. Somebody who's excellent on this is Trent. Somebody who's also excellent on this is Thiago, but Thiago has to get up to speed. Maka also is a very good distributor, and Andrew also as well. But I see the QB role being more of Trent's specialty, and where so you have a reverse inversion, if you will, where backs come back and cover when he's pushing up and dictating, or you go to a 3 in the back, and overload the mid. So you have coverage, because if you're controlling the ball and you're pressing high and aggressive, it's high risk, high reward, right? So this is how you play this game, and you have to be aggressive. And I was proud of the lads. I mean, even though they lost, I mean, there were like in the back line, there was some horrific moments where obviously that dynamism was not there, that normal telepathy, that normal communication that you see. I mean, 2 world-class players. I mean, my goodness, culpable for the last 2 goals. And but this happens. But I'm glad, if it's going to happen in the season, get it out, get it over with, get it out of the way now, and it'll never happen again. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you look at the average channel out there, fan-based channels, quote unquote, they don't look at it from a coaching perspective. They don't look at it from a data analysis perspective. They just see from that eye test, and they see horrific errors, and they interpret it, and your rivals will go, oh, this is the downfall, man. What a bunch of flops. Liverpool is done. And from the Liverpool perspective, they'd be like, oh, man, that guy's poor. I give him a 2 for that. I give him a 4 for that. Or whatever the rating scheme they use. You have reactions. So, at the end of both scales, guys are like super hype, and if something goes wrong, then they're completely anti-down, negative about everything. But that's fine. That's okay for the fans. That's fine. I get it. I understand that. But having been a former player and being a former mentor / coach and in management, and doing data analysis and this kind of thing, I understand what's going on to an extent. And to me, I actually saw a lot of encouraging signs here. So they will learn from this. And what are these errors are? They will never occur again. Because tell you what, the people who created error, they know. And when they see and look back at the film, look at the analysis, and look at the patterns of play, and look at the tactics used, and what they should have done, how they should have executed the various options they had that they probably could have taken, as opposed to the options they took, in the moment. I mean, they will learn from that, and the coaches will to break it down. And I expect Liverpool to come up flying, and the next game is going to be a home game. And, they will push on, and they will absolutely improve dramatically from this. Historically, second half is when Liverpool really click in the gear. And, this is only their second loss all year. The first one, actually, I mean, it's a loss in record, yes, but everybody knows, that the situation, what happened there with Tottenham and VAR. But no matter what, on the books, it's a loss, and I take it as a lot. That was a good data point now. But now we got, more data to analyze. And like I said, you're clearly the back. There was a little bit of dynamism missing there. It's getting reacclimated to transfer role and inversion. Like I said, the club didn't have a choice. A tragedy in Connor's family, and so I get that. And then going into the midfield, it's Silva was fine in training, and somehow warm up training, whatever, he tweaked his hammy again, and so that was a last minute change. And these things happen. And like I said, I've talked in multiple videos, multiple, of these podcasts about Ryan. Ryan is a work in progress. He has a lot of potential, but he's still in the 30, maybe 40, that 30-40% of optimal range. So when as a data analyst, when we say we work in thirds, it's basically 33, 33, 33. So you have the 30 something, then you have the 40 to 70. Then you have the 80 to 100. So when a player is at their optimal peak, it's the 80 to 100. But the metric is not the individual. The metric is the unit. So Ryan is a part of the midfield, right? Horizontally, and then vertically, he has to track back that double role, that offensive defensive role, and so players, it takes time for them to learn the roles, learn to work with the new teammates. So, and then as they progress, then they go the diagonals, and then when they really understand each other, you have the dynamic triangles that is constantly switching and rotating, and that's what demoralizes other teams and confuses defenses and things like that, and makes you just very very potent. And so, like I said, he was definitely he had to was thrust into the role. I mean, I'm not faulting him for anything. He's learning, and he would learn from this as well, and he will grow. I see him. I expect him to improve as the season goes along, and you will see more of an impact next season when it comes to Ryan. But Gakpo also, I mean, a similar thing. He's also work in progress. And you can see, and typically the more experienced, even Robo. I mean, an experienced left back, right? Been in the team for years now, but he's coming back from months off with a major injury, and he's probably in the 40% range right now. Like I said, so there wasn't the normal dynamism a week ago. Before all these injuries, if you see what you saw in the Chelsea game, they were closer to the 70%. They're still far from optimal, but excuse me, guys, but getting there. And so this is what I see, with the team. So in the midfield, it's Curtis did what he did. Maka also, he's been playing with a few bumps and bruises. I've been looking at some of the data there, but he's a tough kid. I mean, you're not going to keep him down. I mean, he had a stud go through his knee, through his muscle to bone, and he still continue until he couldn't, and he finally had to take him off, and then he had a little bit of a layoff there to heal up, so get stitches and still come back on and bandage. I mean, he's a tough kid. But every professional plays injured. It's just how it is. It's just pain tolerance, and you do your thing. And of course, the flow up front, they got to be fed, and got to give Arsenal credit for what they did. And I still believe, we have a far superior team. I still believe that once things click even more, it's flip the first fixture around. I mean, when it matters, we are going to dominate them. It's just how it is. But these things happen. They were a good side. It was a good test. We got a lot of data garnered from this. As far as the forward line, obviously Mo will be coming back. Darwin a bit of a niggle, and but feisty as ever, still a fighter. Lucho was doing what Lucho does. And Diogo also. I mean, you could see the little bit of frustration creeping in there. But like I said, they will learn from all of this. They're all learning to play together. Remember, this is 2.0, and you're constantly learning. So all in all, yes, it's easy to be upset, easy to get down, but I mean, it's just a part of football. You win some, you lose some, and hopefully you win most of the time. And if you lose or do draw, they're far and few between. And yes, I can see, I can hear, all the fan rhetoric and all the trash talking that'll be going on, and this and that. But we'll see how it ends up when it matters at the end of the season. Who's on top? And this tightened things a bit, but the others are going to drop. I mean, City hasn't exactly, they're starting to purr a little more, but they will drop points. They will. And at the end of the day, they got to come to Anfield, and Klopp is the only guy, the only manager, the only team that has a winning record against City through this entire run that City's been there with Pep, right? Klopp's the only coach out there, manager who has a winning record against Pep, regardless of league, regardless of wherever Pep's career was, wherever they met. Klopp has a winning record against him. So, and at Anfield, we know how dominant Liverpool are at Anfield. So this tighten things up. Yeah, they have the 2 games in hand. We'll see how they handle the next 2 games, but they will drop points. We just got to kick on. And the next game, I believe, is Bournemouth at home. I don't have my schedule here in front of me, but I believe it's Bournemouth at home. So the only game that matters now is Bournemouth, and the guys just get a few days off, that entire week basically, to go back, look at the data, see where they have to improve, work on the coaching, get healthy, get heal up, come back stronger, and let's keep pushing for the rest of the season. Let's keep pushing. It's all good. It's a learning experience, but let's keep pushing. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. You'll never walk alone. Like I said, guys, heads up. And I know the players will go back, because I know every time, when we lost a game, and I would replay everything. Even decades later, certain things, I remember. If it went well, if it didn't go well, it's like, man, what could I have done? What, hindsight is always 20/20. But as a player, you always replay everything. And when you look at the film, you analyze. The coaches don't even point out. These are professionals. They know. They go, man, they know. And so they will make the minor corrections, and the team will continue to gel and grow. And as some of the old guard and then the fresh younger kids, continue to grow, play more, work more together, get more dynamic, get closer and closer to that 70 and above, and go from 70 to 75 to 80, and where they have games where they're at 95 to 100%. Absolutely, we've seen them do that. Even a few years ago, with Liverpool 1.0 under Klopp, when they got to that level, especially the season, they set a record of winning the league, the earliest it's ever been won in the history of Premier League. When they're at that level clicking, the no-look passes, all the crazies, the one-touches, into Bobby doing what Bobby did, Sadio and Salah bombing, and, the engine room that the midfield was, with G and all of that. Yes, this team is getting there. And it's. I was just looking at stats, actually analysis from when they won the league compared to where they are, just prior to this game. The stats put up this team from at this point in time were superior to the team that won it all those years ago. And so it's pretty remarkable. So it's a work in progress, and they just keep plugging away. The other guys in Arsenal, Tottenham, everybody around City, they're all going to drop points as well. It's just how it is. And we just got to stay focused, one game at a time. Our focus is Bournemouth, and we need those 3 points at home. And so hope the people at home bring it, be loud, be proud, and just, push this team forward. And once again, condolences, to Connor's family. And it's very, very tragic. I lost a father too. It's very, very emotional. He lost his battle also with his health condition. So I get it. I understand. And but the kid will bounce back. He'll be back, and the team will bounce back. They will learn a lot from this, and onward we go. Forward we go. We move, and don't listen to the noise. It's funny. It's that I'm actually now on a podcast, in social media, this kind of thing. When we played whatever we played, regardless of who it was, even when I'm involved in various high level management stuff, and we shut up. We never listened to the noise outside. We just focused on what we needed to do, and that's why we were very successful in what we did. And this club will continue to do that. And I'm fully confident Liverpool will continue to move forward onto better and greater things. And it's on. It's game on. It's got a little tighter, but it's still very much game on. All right, talk soon, guys. You'll never walk alone. Come on, Liverpool. Let's go. Come on.